Hey guys, first Regardsman here, and so I'll be talking about a Power Sword Assault build for Space Marine 2 patch 12.2 using the newly buffed Balance variant. Now, all the Balance weapons in patch 12 got a base damage buff of around 15%. The Balance Power Sword is actually pretty damn good now on all variants, including the Xenophase Blade, but today I'm taking the 18 Strength, 5 plus Speed, 12 Cleaving Potential version over the other options here, mainly because I just want to go for like full damage. Now, unfortunately, not much has changed for the Power Sword perk tree in Space Marine 2 in like a year now, so we do start off with Armor Strength once again. If you have armor remaining, melee damage increases by 10%. Moving here into the perk Master of Offense. After you switch sword combat style, you deal 20% more melee damage for 5 seconds. The cooldown is 10 seconds. Now, the way you usually switch your sword combat style in this game is you will do it out of a dash attack into a lunging attack anyways, which can immediately go into a power rake, so really easy to have a nice 20% melee damage buff for your heaviest hitting attack here. Next perk here, Perpetual Strength, and Perpetual Strength again for a 10% melee damage increase. Then I pick up the perk Tranquility for no knockback during power roll stance. Into the perk here, Melee Onslaught for another 10% melee damage buff. Then I grab the perk Hard Target for 15% less range damage during a light combo. This is actually pretty good on the balance variants. They're a bit faster than say the block version is, so you do actually pull this off a little bit more easily. And the next perk here is of course Cutting Edge to give 50% more melee damage to our Power Rake, because Power Rake is by far the most important part of the Power Sword in general. It's like the only top tier attack on this weapon besides the Power Roll stance, so definitely pick this up. And the final perks are as usual, with the perk here Extremis Slayer into the perk Majora's Slayer into Terminus Slayer, and then you can either pick up the perk here Speed Restoration or Power Restoration for double CHP recovery in the respective stance. And that's pretty much all there is for the Power Sword tree. Now for the secondary weapon, I do take the Relic Tier Heavy Bolt Pistol with the Ammo Reserve option, mainly because this class does have some serious ammo economy issues. This one helps out a ton, and also I hate fighting Zoanthropes and Neurothropes with a Plasma Pistol, but if you are fighting Chaos, I would suggest either this gun or the Inferno Pistol even, because they're both pretty damn good at the moment. Now, for the perk tree on this gun, I do pick up the perk Divine Might first, moving here into the perk Perpetual Penetration. Each shot penetrates one additional target. This perk hardly matters at all, but I just pick this one up to go into the next perk here, which is Increased Capacity. Then I pick up the perk here, Extended Magazine, into the perk Death Strike. After killing a Majora's or higher enemy in melee combat, you will deal 25% more damage for 10 seconds. This will also trigger off a melee finisher on just a melee kill, and a 25% damage buff for 10 seconds is pretty damn good in this game. And usually, if you swap off your gun for any reason, you will lose the effect, but on an Assault class, you don't have a primary gun, so it doesn't matter at all. So this one's pretty much up every single time you get an execute, so great synergy there. Next perk here is Great Might, into the perk here Strong Start. First round of magazine deals 25% more damage, then I pick up the perk Able Damage. After using a class ability, damage increases by 20% for 10 seconds. The Assault will be using the jump pack all the time on like pretty much every single build he has. Doesn't matter if you're using Zealous Blow or Wings of Flame, you will pretty much trigger Able Damage all the time, so definitely pick this perk up. Next perk here is Home Precision, up here into the perk Gunstrike Reload for instantaneous reload on a gunstrike. And the final perk here is Tactical Precision for headshots dealing 20% more damage and non-headshot damage decreasing by 10%. Headshot damage is pretty much all that matters in Space Marine 2 still, and on this build I am picking up both Auxiliary Arsenal for another 20% damage buff, and the perk down here, Practice Aim, for another 15% buff for a total of 35%, so more damage is more damage. This also helps out our headshots, and that's pretty much all there is for the secondary weapon. Now for the Assault perk tree, I do start off with the perk Overcharge once again. Damage from held and charged melee attacks increases by 25%. This is a 25% of multiplicative melee damage buff to your heaviest hitting attacks on like pretty much every weapon. If you're trying to go for max damage, you just pick this one up because other options just don't give you remotely as much. Though I will say a safer option here is Armor Reinforcement, because non-finisher gun strikes during one armor segment will save you a ton of HP, especially since I'm not taking the perk here Defense Mechanism on this build, but I'm picking them both up today with Overcharge and Auxiliary Arsenal, mainly because I'm trying to max out damage. And speaking of maxing out damage, this brings us to Auxiliary Arsenal. This gives us a secondary weapon damage increase of 20%, and this combined with the perk down here, like I mentioned previously, will give us a 35% secondary damage increase. That is pretty substantial. You definitely feel this one in game versus Zoanthropes and stuff like that, which is why I do like to pick it up. Though I will say Defense Mechanism and Consecutive Execution are both amazing perks, and Consecutive Execution is probably the best overall. Next perk here is Knowledge of the Enemy. Melee damage increases by 15% against Majoris or Extremis level enemies. This is just a nice little melee damage buff. You could take Active Attrition or even Perseverance if you want. None of these perks are bad. This was just the best flat damage non-conditional bonus. Next perk here, Strategic Strikes. All team members deal 20% more melee damage against Extremis and Terminus level enemies. And this is once again just a nice little melee damage buff. You could alternatively take Proven Efficiency, but usually if you're playing like Balanced or Block, I would suggest this because they benefit a lot more because their base damage is higher for this benefit. Next perk here is Furious Strikes. Hitting an enemy with an attack after a jump pack dash, force jump pack's ability to charge by 1. The cooldown is 10 seconds. This is probably just the best assault perk ever added to this game because pretty much you just have a free gap close off of this. You can also go jump pack positive if you combine this perk with the perk down here, Commitment. This one reads a perfect time dodge using a jump pack dash for his jump pack's ability charge, and because of that, you can basically get a free dodge off of this and then immediately go into a jump pack dash attack and trigger this perk, and now you're effectively up a free jump pack, which is pretty damn powerful. The next perk here is Wings of Flame, a jump pack dash that damages enemies on trajectory and always works as a perfect dodge when dodging an attack. This basically just gives you a perfect dodge window across the entire trajectory of your jump pack dash. That is a very powerful effect on its own. Also, the damage here is quite substantial, so really good for enabling this perk combo, which is why you pretty much always pick it up these days. This really is like the Age of Fire in Space Marine 2, you know, shout out Dark Souls fans, where Wings of Flame has just kind of overtaken Zealous Blow for the most part. Next perk here is Aerial Grace. After your perfect time dodge using a jump pack dash, you will deal 30% more damage for 10 seconds. And this is just a free damage buff for triggering your jump pack dash ability all the time, and you pretty much always do this now in the assault class, so a really good synergy there. Though alternatively, you could pick up Pride and Duty, because this will just give you a 25% ground pound damage buff for a finisher, which also happens pretty regularly. That's pretty much all there is for the main perk tree. Now for the prestige perks, I do take Unyielding Oath first. Once again, when charging a ground pound, you become invulnerable for 3 seconds. This just gives you enormous utility in this game. You can go right through a Zoanthrope Beam, a Neurothrope Wave, or like Missile Cannon Terminators and stuff like that. You can also pick up Duelist if you want. Adrenaline Boost these days has kind of been like completely power crept by the perk Hammer of Wrath we'll get into in a second, but for now, I would pick between these two options. Next perk here is Fortitude. Health increases by 15%. Health increases in Space Marine 2 are just a top tier effect wherever you can find them, so you pretty much always grab this one on any build. And the final perk I grab in this row is Practice Aim. Range damage increases by 15% for the reasons I previously mentioned. And then we pick up the final perk, Hammer of Wrath. After using your jump pack, you take 30% less range damage and don't lose control of heavy hits and cannot be knocked back for 15 seconds. This is just free no knockback for using your jump pack dash, which you do all the damn time on every single assault build in the game, and you also get a free 30% range damage reduction, which will not only affect your HP but also your armor, so really top tier perk effect all around. This used to be in the gear tree here where Furious Strikes is, but they basically added this perk and moved this to the prestige perk tree, and now it's just the best perk or one of the best perks in the entire tree here, so pretty much always pick this up just like Fortitude. And that is pretty much all there is for this build, guys. The Power Sword is a classic weapon in Space Marine 2, a classic weapon in 40k, and these days it is definitely a lot better than it used to be. I do think there's like a couple tweaks they could do to this one to make it a bit better, like up the light attack damage and stuff like that, but for now I think it's in an okay spot, maybe one of the weaker options as far as like melee weapons are concerned, but really all the weapons in Space Marine 2 are a significantly better spot than they used to be in this game anyways. That's not saying too much, and hopefully this build guide helped you, and if you like content like this, subscribe for more. And as always, thank you for watching. If you want to come and catch me live to ask me questions about the game, you can find me here on YouTube or on Twitch with a link in the video description alongside a link to my community Discord. Oh, that sucks. We actually have a lot of range damage right now. Well, a lot of range damage for a assault, I should say. Just want to dodge that ball. I was hoping to get back to him in time, but I probably just gone forward. pew, pew, pew. Look at that damage. That sucks. Could be ammo over here. Yeah, usually if you come over here with low ammo, you pretty much always get a box. This is like one of the most consistent boxes in the whole game. Before was just ass and no assault. I think assault was always pretty. He's been pretty strong for a while. Ever since past 9, he's been one of the better classes in the game. But now he's just godly. Why did you use your jump pack to ground slam? Because we're not built for wings. We're built for wings of flame here, not zealous blow. So we want to save. We want to have at least one jump pack up at all times. I had no idea block weapons had a range damage reduction on perfect block. I know. Doesn't tell you it anywhere, but they do. They get a 60% range damage reduction on perfect block. That's why oftentimes when you're perfect blocking and you're getting shot at, suddenly you don't take any damage from like a sniper shot, or take like next to no damage because you get that fat range damage reduction. Also, balanced weapons have a different stagger radius and fencing weapons do on the perfect parry for all the enemies around you. There's a lot of like weird little mechanics in the game doesn't tell you at all. What's your class for siege mode? I mean, assault is still is the god king of siege mode. And I say that because assault goes the farthest in both solo and groups. I would say the god tier supports bulwark, and then tactical is mandatory. I would say tactical and assault are far more mandatory than bulwark is, but bulwark is still like a pretty big requirement to push up all the way. But tactical assault's like the god combo. A thick damage reduction, true ravine. I can't wait to see what they do with the store on siege mode in the new update, patch 15. I hope it's not like a shitty update. That would be sad. I hope it's not like here's a new map and some weird tools. Maybe they'll give us Chaos Astartes. Who knows? I hope they didn't blow their load on the Tech Marine is what I mean.
An aerial scan with sweep is all, but I'm beginning
You prefer Axe or a Power Sword? Yeah, Axe is way better than Power Sword, but... That was not, whatever. We'll just kill him off this. Which axe variant? I mean, balance and block are the best right now. I think fencing weapons generally need a buff in this game at the moment. They're not that strong currently. Any thoughts on ranged primary executions? I think it'd be balanced as long as they don't restore armor. Main purpose would be to let you stay back and conserve more ammo. Execution use ammo. I mean, I don't think the ammo economy of most classes is that bad now anyways. But I think it might help the leash a little bit, so who knows. Does block give gun strikes? No. Ravine, if you could be so kind as to show him, I have a defense video on that if you're curious about all defense types that explains it in far more detail than I can here. Let's go grab this. Balance axe is great, it certainly is. A great weapon. Any thoughts on fighting a Terminus boss as Assault is so satisfying? As long as it's not a fucking nerve throw, they are pretty annoying. That's actually the main reason I take a heavy bolt pistol in this class, is because I just fucking hate fighting neuro throws with a plasma. Which Space Marine chapter / legion is your favorite? Blood Angels, brethren. The Sons of Sanguinius, the Children of Baal, a ship full of radiated moon that was made slightly better by Sanguinius. Did you guys know that those the pilgrims on Baal, they almost killed Sanguinius when they found him? They thought he was like a filthy mutant like everything else on their planet, and they were like, I guess he's like a normal kid, kinda. He's got weird wings. W choice. Oh, relic all the way over there. Blood Angels are poster boys in 11th edition, as they should be. Blood Angels are way cooler than Ultramarines. I'm sorry, Titus. Titus is like the most Space Marine guy of all times. Most generic Ultramarine. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Is that a bad thing to say? Can I say that? I was suspecting they get so desperate to get people to try balance weapons that they just give them generally superior stats. I mean, it's kind of what they always should have had, because their parry window is the worst in the entire game. I wonder, this might be the last buff we see to balance weapons for a while. I think most of the other buffs will be... something else. Like class-specific buffs. A lot of guys. Swing, swing. What's up, Chief? How is the Space Marine 2 grind been? What's up, Revan? Oh yeah, I meant to message you back about that video I asked you about. I asked you to make a video with me, that I just forgot to respond to your reply. How are you doing, dude? I saw the Expanse stuff. I did see that you sent me. I'm actually very interested in that because I was a huge fan of both the book series for that and the TV series. W choice for sure. I like the Salamanders personally. I just wish we got a little more with the cosmetic pack. Yeah, I think most people think the Salamander pack is a little undercooked in this game. Oh, you bastard. Oh, Wings of Flame is like shockingly strong these days. If only Pass 1 Assault can see me now. Pass 1 Assault. The melee balance in this game is like truly god-awful. Honestly, melee balance in Space Marine 2 was god-awful up until like post-Siege mode. When Siege mode launched in Patch 8, the only good melee weapon really was like an Artificer block. Was Artificer block and like block Chainsword Artificer as well was pretty good. Everything else kind of sucked ass. Why is Darktide sitting at mixed reviews on Steam? And when is Darktide not sitting at mixed reviews on Steam? Bulwark, it feels left out since I heard it, that it hasn't gotten a buff in a while. Yeah, that's because Bulwark is in need. I know you're trolling me, Ravine. Favorite class? Probably Tactical or Assault right now. Probably some mix of Tac, Assault, or Bulwark and Tech Marine. I think the classes that could really benefit from like a new mechanic would be Sniper and Vanguard. And Heavy. Thank you very much. Here we go. The enemy pleads for aid. Go handle the generator before we die here. You sunk 40 hours in a Crimson Desert. It's the most boring, shallow, and pointless game I've ever played. I'm glad you mentioned this, Revan, because I think we have similar taste in games. I don't think that, that game looked very good at all. Saw a lot of hype. It looked nice. It was a pretty looking game. And so is this, yet here you are in the category, dude. Space Marine 2 so shallow, you're spending your free time watching somebody play it. Could be me. Oh shit, we're about to die. Very enthusiastic at Cardinal's voice. We're gonna have to do what I call an elite gamer move, and okay, that's almost bad. I don't know if the Sanctified Wrath is really necessary. Man, I need a break after like 5 hours. Well, usually when I feel like I don't like a game, I don't really watch content for it of any kind. But welcome in. Space Marine 2 is definitely not the most complicated game ever, but It's definitely gotten more skill expression over time, though. 5,000 hours in a title like Devil May Cry, Dark Souls, MMOs like WoW, New World, and Lost Ark, as well as every RPG on the market since the 90s. I never felt a game be more of a nothing burger than Crimson Desert. That's impressive. I know you're not lying, Revan, either, because you guys are unaware. Revan knows ball. Revan is like the Rogue Trader content creator. He's the guy for that game. Skill expression like headshots with vultures. Well, these days, I think Assault has a pretty good skill expression. Bulwark does too. Really, any class in this game has an animation cancel. There you go. Your vulture, your bolt pistol lies your arsenal actually just shreds these guys. Hey, we did it. Was thinking of picking up Road Trader today. Well, you should look at the video Revan and I did on it. You should look at all Revan's videos because he probably has every guide you would ever need for that game. Is active attrition perk better than knowledge of the enemy? It depends. Knowledge of the enemy is more flat damage. It's unconditional. If you are getting off a lot of lunging attacks, active attrition can give you more at times, but like it really depends. They're both very good perks. Though active attrition will apply a debuff to the enemy that will also increase gun strike damage. So it can be better for that. Road a book with a thin layer of CRPG on top. Not every CRPG. That's like the whole point of a CRPG. I feel like Baldur's Gate 3 is just a rom-com with a thin layer of CRPG on top. Alright, so we got another boss spawn up here. We are more powerful now than we were before. We have Restorative Stim and a Guardian Relic, so it should be pretty easy. And if it's a, Waiter, excuse me, my CRPG has gameplay in it. Alright, no boss spawn there. We have 2 more triggers. This map, the reason I like Inferno so much is number one, none of the objectives feel obnoxious. And also, there's a lot of boss spawns on this one. So you usually don't go a mission with only one, or you get both of them. God. Wings of Flame trying to be peak challenge impossible.
We have arrived at Nozick's facility. Run distraction efforts as long as you can.
Is this a single player Warhammer game? I mean, technically you can play by yourself, but definitely encouraged to, like, for half the modes, over half the modes, play with other people. How does BG3 compare to Divinity 2? Worth the hype? BG3 is a great game. Dude, what the hell am I looking at? That Ravner was tweaking. Binding Oath is good. Really liking the Nid and Chaos mix on Disruption. Really, Osborne? I mean, I like that one. I think it's pretty cool. I just felt like Zambit didn't like that one either. They messaged me and they were like, it's all cinematic. But Zambit's also like a 100% gameplay first person, so I understand. It does play a lot like a campaign mission, I think. I definitely could have triggered my, Please don't frame trap me, please don't frame trap me.
No more surprises than this. Prepare to strike into them. Another scene of fire form eliminated.
Starting to cool down that. Okay. Ow. Oh shit, oh shit. Probably took all the extra range damage. Just for these guys. Should be able to hit him with this. Oh, I technically did. Whatever. Perish. And is a bit flat for many times, but I like the balance of experience and chaos on that map. It's definitely done better in that regard than the Box of Baratus mission.
One more mindless beast slain.
Oh dear. Oh, so we go through the whole boss fight. You know what actually eats our HP stem? Fucking Devourer spam. Gotta respect the damage of these guys. Always respect the damage of the Devourer.
I saw through war-torn skies. Exterminated.
Questions, FCG, do you think you could reach wave 100 on solo normal siege if the game allowed you to? Oh, normal siege?
Stay close and sharp.
I don't actually know what the modifiers would be on normal siege. Normal siege is based on substantial. And then I don't even know if it does the endless wave buff. I assume it does. But the endless wave buff peaks out after wave 45 anyways, like all the enemies stay the same. The game would probably crash, but like you said, normal siege is not very hard. But that would also be like, I don't know how long that would take, probably like 6 hours. Probably get tired. I don't really have a frame of reference for how difficult that would actually be, to be honest. I've only played hard. You know a lot of normal siege to unlock the weapon skins? Oh yeah, you can do that in normal siege too, can't you? I hope the siege updates peak. Siege modes had like one update after it initially launched. The biggest update we've had to siege mode since it came out was Chaos Spawn getting added to it as part of patch 10.
The bulk of the swarm is continuing along the predicted path.
I'll go back to it once they put something new, which they are going to be doing. There should be like actual placements and stuff. The next patch would be pretty fun. I doubt those are very like if they remove the timer, I think players will probably play the mode more. God, dude, look at this. Power rolls go off on these guys. God, the voice pack DLC guys yell so fucking much. This isn't even the Black Templar guy. He yells the most. Outside of picking up Rogue Trader, skip Darktide, to be honest. Darktide's a good 40k game. Rogue Trader's definitely a better 40k game, though Darktide's a better horde shooter than Space Marine 2, in my opinion. That Kakarota is giving birth or something? Yeah, we gave him the zestiest voice on accident. Get the GOAT 40k game, Fire Warrior? Yeah, because we all want to play as fucking POW, right? If you want to play Fire Warrior combat, just play XCOM and Kill Xeno. Some play as one.
Halfway there, brothers. Keep it up. More of the skittering vermin. Disgusting tyranid scum. Prepare to strike into their midst.
Darktide is falling off fast with shitty updates for no updates. 3 classes, 1.5 years, and barely any master weapons. I mean, Darktide has a lot more content in this game does right now, I'd say. It's a lot more meaningful content. It's got a whole Havoc mode. Expeditions is kind of a mistake. Not gonna lie.
Another Xenos bioform eliminated.
Thou hate is forced. They're fish, dude. What do you mean it's forced? Like fish?
You are clear to detonate.
Isn't Darktide getting a new class in the summer? Probably. There are rumors of that. So Darktide was supposed to originally launch with a new class per quarter, and they've kind of been following that since RBD's launch. Expeditions is the first update we've had, or like the first major update. Well, not even actually. No, we had RBD's, and then we had the one in like October or something for Darktide. What was that one called where they did a rework of the veteran perk tree and zealot perk trees?
Stand amidst the smoldering remains of our Tyranid biosites down 90% unfallen. Swarm annihilation confirmed.
There we go.
Excellent work.
Eek.
Move to extract. Extraction complete.
Arbides is still the best class after Vet. I think Arbides is a very entertaining class in the game. They did a great job with that one. Alright, there we go, boys. Alright, now it is time for... Wow, 51,000 melee damage, goddamn. I'll have Extremis in these.